Hi, we're here with Nathan from Your Call. Nathan, you purchased a business with some partners, and what exactly does it do?
Yeah, definitely. We provide whistleblowing solutions to enterprises. So we provide 24/7 telephone hotlines or web reporting for employees to report wrongdoing generally.
So, for example, somebody they're working in a department, and they're, say, a female has a male boss, and he's too flirty with her, and she feels uncomfortable. What can the employee do?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that becomes part of the enterprise's whistleblowing policy and procedure. So they have obviously internal routes that they can take to report misconduct, or if they don't feel comfortable with that, or in your example, it's their manager who they would report to directly, they can contact us and we'll independently review the information and then pass that information on to the relevant C-suite authorities, maybe the Risk and Audit Committee, but at the same time protecting the whistleblower, either by their identity or making sure there's no retaliation on the whistleblowing, their livelihood at work and the stream of promotions isn't impacted or tarnished.
So, is the competition for your service like the employee calling the police, or is it what do people usually do that feel threatened at work or uncomfortable? What do people do, like
what do they do?
without a Your Call? What goes on now? Like, what are the problems that organizations usually go through?
Definitely. Well, sometimes they don't provide a means to report anonymously at all. So I think it's the figure in Australia is around.
It's just like they feel like every day they feel like in a corner that they can't do anything, right?
That's right. So then they don't want to add to the gossip, the rumour mill by telling their friends, because they don't want their job to be impacted, obviously, and they'll just absorb it, let it go on, maybe try some initial attempts themselves to confront the manager. But as you can probably imagine, that's pretty difficult to do.
So you've installed this service in several businesses here in the U.S., or
No.
you started?
No business in the US. So we're specifically here to do research and development because some of the largest companies who provide this service are in the States.
Okay, have you done it in Australia?
Yeah, we have about 150 clients in Australia and Asia Pacific.
So, how many times would a company maybe call Your Call during, in a month?
We get asked that all the time, especially about new businesses that are you're signing us up.
Yeah.
It's nearly impossible to answer that question because the size of the employers, the demographics of the employers, are they in a mill factory? Are they all blue collar workers that are largely male, and they're trying to integrate females into the workers mix? That obviously is going to have a propensity for have higher numbers of reports opposed to working at Google.
Can you give like 2 or 3 of the most common complaints people have at work?
Of course, yeah. We'd say probably 80% are behaviour-based. So bullying, sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment.
Those sorts of behaviour-based items are high on the list. Fraud, corruption, bribery make up the other 20%. And they're really serious when they do come through to us, as you can imagine, because they're of an anonymous nature. In America, they actually financially reward whistleblowers that lead to an investigation as successful tribunals. So we don't have that in Australia yet, and the legislation might change. However, it's growing, and as initially whistleblowing has a bad reputation, and as you can imagine,
it sounds threatening. Like,
it does.
I'm going to pay for a service that might hurt my company and expose bad things. But I get
opening Pandora's box. It's scary as a board, as you can imagine, but it's also scary imagining, as your example of keeping the lid closed is just as scary. It makes it for inappropriate ways that the information will get leaked.
So this can save companies larger lawsuits. Maybe they can settle it or address it immediately, and the employee, doesn't try to sue the company because maybe the manager gets addressed right away. Like, this has to stop immediately.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
We see it adds value and benefit in multiple ways. One, it adds as a risk treatment tool in the government's toolkit of an organisation. It also complements their culture and the attitudes within internally. So hopefully, culture starting the tone at the top. This is one way to demonstrate that you're not going to stand for wrongdoing and inappropriate behaviour. You've got the means for employees to report multiple avenues, both internally and externally, and you're going to stand by that. Every single report will get investigated. Wrongdoing will be punished, and people will also get rewarded for whistleblowing, etc. So it moves the needle on the culture debate. So we find it adds value in multiple areas.
Yes. Any challenges, like being an Australian business and coming to the U.S.? I mean, we had this company Pie Face. We saw it. They tried to be in the U.S. and I don't think it worked out. But you're not exactly pie services. Are there any challenges you see, like coming here and versus expanding to another country? To other entrepreneurs that are thinking of expanding?
Definitely. Going over the geographical divide is a huge challenge, obviously. And like I mentioned, we have very successful in Australia, have a lot of clients in Australia and great relationships, but that really doesn't mean anything here at all. Especially our competitors are the big four accounting firms, some major software companies that provide case management and investigation services. So it is threatening, and we haven't decided specifically if we'll penetrate the US or if we'll just learn from those companies and build a better service in the Asia Pacific. So that's exactly why I'm here, is I'm canvassing the area to see where we can add value in more areas. We like to think we're pretty progressive, especially in our region, and I want to determine if that is the same in America, because as you can imagine, whistleblowing is a traditional, very stuffy environment run by a lot of ex-law enforcement and forensic accountants, etc. And that's great. Very successful industry, but also hasn't had much of a customer service focus of how we can really add value. So that's what we're excited about.
Well, thank you very much, Nathan. It was really interesting.
Thanks very much.